Hey guys, how's it going? How's everybody doing today? It's kind of, oh, that's kind of loud. Let's go ahead and turn that down a smidge bit so I'm comfortable with it. Hopefully it's, I doubt it's too loud for you guys. I feel like I've kind of got the proper rhythm and rhyme figured out for my sound quality over here when I'm doing these little kind of vlogs with you guys. Yeah, I threw this together at the last possible freaking second. I just kind of, I don't know. I'd gone a couple of days without streaming, and, oh, my puppy's here because he wants me to pay attention to him. Hey, you gonna come and say hi to the audience over here? Come here. Come here. I don't know if you guys can see him here. Let me kind of, there he is. He's hanging out. He likes to kind of climb on the couch every once in a while, and he's been wanting me to kind of pay attention to him a bit more today. So, you want to come over here and sit with me, buddy? Or are you just gonna hang out on the couch? Looks like he's just gonna hang out on the couch for a while. So how's it going, Wrath of Wood and Stay and Play? Glad to have you guys in here. Yeah, so I threw this stream together at the last second simply because it's been a while since I've streamed, and I've been really busy. It's a combination of things. There's a lot of things going on right now. So I potentially have been hired for a new job, and so that has been really chaotic, simply because the place that I have been hired for has been needing to contact me for various different purposes, you know, to get me all situated in their system and get me started on the job and all that. And it's kind of been this complicated process where I never know when they're going to call me. So they basically have been saying they've gotten me in this, which is fine. Like, I mean, it's kind of a priority, and I'm sorry, guys, that I kind of have to, you know, put you guys off, you know, streaming and making content. But this is kind of a priority simply because I need to make sure that I have a comfortable job that can pay me regularly before I can, you know, really jump back into being super dedicated towards content creation. So that has kind of been my priority, and they say, hey, like, we need to make sure that you're available so that we can call you to get things, you know, going. So that's why I haven't been able to stream or create content at my regular times that I have been. So today it's kind of, you know, it's late in the day, and I'm kind of like, well, if they haven't contacted me, you know, at this point in the day, that it's basically where I'm currently, it's early evening right now. And basically, if they haven't contacted me by early evening, it's basically going to mean that they're not going to call me. So that's kind of why I was able to kind of throw this stream together at the last possible second. Hey, Shed, glad to have you in here, buddy. Thanks for coming in, hanging out. But that's all, like I said, that's why I can't make content at the same schedule that I have been previously, simply because I have to make sure that I have my time available to receive these extremely important phone calls. But I'm also trying my best not to waste that time as well, simply because there have been days where they just say, hey, we might contact you, but we can't make any promises. We just need to make sure that you're available to be contacted by us, whether we contact you or not. So because of that, I have a lot of free time, and I can't stream during that free time because if they do end up calling me, I would have to like stop the stream or interrupt the stream or whatever. So what I have been doing instead is doing content work that I can step away freely from, so that I have the ability to answer phone calls. And as you guys have probably noticed with the extreme amount of work that I've done the last couple of days, despite not streaming, the content that I have been working on is my video content, because that's the time that I have available that's easy to step away from if I get an important phone call. So I have been on a pretty serious grind the last couple of days working on making my videos, and I know I was making lots of promises before and saying, oh, I was working on it, and I was, But the thing is that until these last few days where I now have to expect these phone calls coming in, I was primarily focused on streaming rather than video content, which means the video content was more in my off hours, so I wasn't focusing on it as hard, and the streaming was more of a priority. However, now that I have to be concerned about these phone calls coming in, because I have to worry about that, and I have all this free time in between the expected calling times, that means that that free time can be spent on actually working on my editing and videos. So that's why I was able to finish up that Honey Pop video that I've been working on, get it all edited the way that I wanted. It's still kind of rough. I'm still learning a lot of skills and a lot of tactics on how to edit properly, but I feel like I've made some pretty serious advances in what I'm capable of doing. I've learned a lot, and I've been also doing research as well. I've had to kind of go around and see how other people are editing their censored videos so that I can know what I'm doing so that I don't get in trouble with YouTube. And it's been a very enlightening and interesting experience. I've actually learned a lot of things in these last couple of days just working on those videos and making them work. Let's see. Bo Falcon, what's up, brother? Glad to have you in here. Bo Falcon says, look who popped in to say hi, honey. Hi, Mr. Bo. And I'll also be I'll kind of talk about some more stuff involving Honey Pop, because it's kind of created this new content environment that I was really excited to get into that wasn't readily available to me before. So I'll discuss that in just a second. DLG says, guess who? Hi, DLG. Glad to have you in here, buddy. Stay in Place says, thank you for the explanation. I can tell it's kind of personal, so thank you for sharing, Peppa. Always prioritize your life over your channel. It sucks, but it's absolutely necessary. We all love you. I appreciate that, Stay and Play. Thank you guys for understanding. I just also, like, a major part of it, too, though, is that I didn't want, like, it's a combination of I didn't want you guys to think I was wasting my time, and I also personally don't want to feel like I'm wasting my own time. So I basically said to myself, well, I don't have the ability to comfortably stream because of the priority of getting the job set up right now. But I do still have free time. And as long as I have that free time available to me, I need to still be constructive with it. So that's why I've been upping my game on working on video creation and video editing. So that way, it's that no matter what I'm doing, no matter what kind of situation arises, I'm still constantly making that time, being useful and constructive rather than wasting it. So, and that was something I was kind of concerned, because I did have a couple of days where, because the whole thing with the new job was that because I was expecting those phone calls and trying to, like, find the job and all that and wait for employers to get back to me, there was a couple of days where I didn't get as many things done as I wanted to, and that felt really bad, and that's when I started reconstructing my schedule to make it so that, okay, well, I don't have the streaming available to me, but I do have the time that I need to be able to play the game. I can step away from the game to receive the phone call, and then when I'm done playing the game, I have the video footage, I have the time to be able to, edit the footage, I have the time to take the tutorials I need to be able to, like, learn how to edit certain kinds of footage. So I've just been on the grindstone for video content lately, and, and like I said, like, I would love to be able to, like, stream to you guys every day, but that's just currently not the option I have available at the moment. So I can't necessarily guarantee that I'll be able to put out video content every single day or stream every single day, but I am trying to make this great effort to make sure that the time I'm using is not being wasted, so that I'm constantly, working on some kind of content creation. So this is actually, like, this whole stream is kind of me updating you guys and letting you guys know what's on the channel, but also just even putting out the video content is important, because that way you guys can directly see results are occurring. And that was why that honey pop video that I put out today, the 10-minute long one, I know it doesn't seem like this big deal. I know, like, oh, it's just a little 10-minute video clip of behind the scenes honey pop content. I know it doesn't seem like this big deal, but I really actually put a ton of work into that, and it was very extremely important to me specifically that I needed to get that done, because I felt like I kept making these promises that I was, oh, like, what's Honey Pop 2 doing? Like, are you playing the game? Like, are you working on it? Like, what's going on? And I knew that I wouldn't be able to get into Honey Pop 2 without the knowledge of the video editing knowledge that I've gained for creating that 10-minute Honey Pop clip that I released today. And the fact that I was able to put that out in the way that I did made me feel very satisfied, because it basically was me confirming with myself that I have the knowledge that I need to get it done, and I have the ability to release it, and thus I now can, move forward and get the videos. Like, I actually recorded the first Honey Pop video today. It's nowhere near, it's not anywhere near being completed. There's so much work I have to do. And I was actually planning to, after this stream, to record some more Honey Pop videos. So I only have one done right now. And also just knowing the editing work I'm going to have to do is going to be interesting. But I plan to probably, hopefully, get maybe 2 more, at least, of the Honey Pop videos recorded. They won't be edited by tonight, but I can probably get one of them done by tomorrow. Like, done tomorrow, and then probably release the day after, depending on where I'm at. So, but I really like this. I'm actually really enjoying... first of all, guys, Honey Pop 2, so good. It's so good. It's so good. But it's a lot of... It's... If you guys didn't get the correct impression from the behind-the-scenes video that I released today, that was a lot of editing for me. I've never done that much editing in a video in my entire life. So that video that I released today, which is a 10-minute clip, that is 10 minutes of, video footage taken from a 40-minute clip. So there was a lot of editing that I had to do to get, like, basically I pulled out all the sweet bits, like all the pieces that were really juicy and felt really fun to me, and then I kind of compiled them all into, like, one little 10-minute piece. And obviously the most important part is the ending of that footage with the juicy photo, if you guys haven't already seen it. The juicy photo, which nobody is actually allowed to see, but that took me the largest amount of work to get that figured out. But I'm glad that I learned it. It's a really important skill that I really needed to get in my belt of video editing skills. So let me kind of catch up just a little bit more, and I'll talk more. There's a lot I want to discuss about this project. It's a big deal. It's like, this project, this Honey Pop project, is a huge deal for me. Like, because it's forcing me to change so many things about my channel and making me do things that I have never done before, which I like, I really like that. So, Bo says it's currently snowing where he is. Wow, we're actually beginning spring. It's actually been bright and sunny where I'm located, and the sky is blue and the clouds are puffy, and I even had my window open for a pretty large amount of time today, just to get the nice air in. But then it got colder later in the afternoon, so I now have the window closed. Ryderwood says, free time for the honeys. Yes. Playing the game and getting the video footage is definitely the most entertaining part. But the editing is a lot of work. But I will admit, the editing work, like learning all the new stuff and then putting it into action, was actually fun for me in its own special kind of way, because... like, just learning the new material was something that I really enjoyed. I liked gaining the new skills and the new kind of knowledge. And there were times where it felt a little bit tedious, but overall I enjoyed it. And let me tell you, doing that editing work, really, the time just flies by. And that's kind of like a positive and a negative, you know, like the time just flying by. For example, I had started the editing process on the 10-minute honeypot video that I had put out today. I started the editing process, like the full-blown editing process, at about I think it was like 4 p.m. yesterday, because I had a bunch of other things I had to do. And 4 p.m. was about the okay time for me to start working on it based on other things that were happening. I didn't finish the editing process. I started at 4 p.m. yesterday. I didn't finish the editing process until like midnight last night. Like, it was a lot of work, but I was really glad that I got it done, and I felt really accomplished. Like, I feel good. Like, I feel good about it. And I feel like I can reproduce that with the future content I'm working on as well. Hey, Cindy! How's it going, buddy? Glad to have you in here, homie. DLG says, do what you can and what you feel comfortable with. I'm still trying to figure out how I want to do some of what I want to do. Well, just make sure that, like, one of the major things, too, for me was just, like, recognizing that I had the free time and I needed to spend it constructively. Like, I kind of get to a point where, like, I sometimes will waste a lot of time. And then, like, after a little bit of, like, after, like, a day or two of, like, wasting a lot of time, I start feeling like I need to be more constructive. And once I get to that point, I just dive into, like, lots and lots of projects and lots of work, like what I'm doing right now. Like, when I stream, guys, streaming sometimes makes me a little lazy. Like, because sometimes, like, what I do is I plan my whole day around my streaming. And then after basically, like, the beginning of my day is spent getting prepared for a stream. And then once I finish the stream, I kind of, like, end my day. And then I don't do anything for, like, the rest of the day a lot of the time. And that's cool and all, like, that's fine. But when I have, like, I've been having these days where I can't stream, you know? And like, on the days where I can't stream because of the stuff I'm getting arranged for my new job coming in, I kind of, like, was like, okay, well, I can't waste this time, you know? And I can't stream. And also, like, I could be using the time that I have at the end of a stream to be more constructive. And so, like, with that in mind, I end up planning, instead of, like, getting ready for a singular stream and then ending my day after that stream, I'm instead thinking about, well, I don't have a stream, so every single moment of that day is precious to me. So I have to, like, use it in the most constructive fashion possible. And that's what these last few days have been for me, is just making sure that I'm using every minute that I have available to me to work on, you know, my video projects. Or a lot of it, too, is I've been looking for side jobs, even though I have this other job in line, which I think I'm pretty sure is everything is going to work out fine. I have been getting into some other online projects. Not stuff I'm really, like, you know, not like content creation, but, like, I've been kind of looking into some writing stuff. I got involved with a website that I'm not so sure about. I think they might have, like, ripped me off, but I also am eligible to get my money back. I had to spend money to, like, get involved on this website for a certain kind of content creation, and I'm not liking what they're showing me. And I basically got into a conversation with one of their representatives telling them that I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And they basically said, well, you know what? Like, we have a 30-day, you know, guaranteed money return if you don't like it. So we can either start the process now, and then the guy was like, or you can wait, like, a week. And if you're still not seeing... Because, like, I basically, like, was really unhappy with what I was seeing. And I wanted a refund, like, pretty much the day of. Like, that's how upset I was with what I saw. And the representatives were not really sketchy with me. They weren't really weird or anything. They didn't make me feel like they were trying to rip me off, you know what I'm saying? So basically the representative that I was talking to was like, well, listen, like, if you can give us like a week to kind of get our stuff together for you and see, like, it's basically supposedly a new avenue for me to make some money on the side for working on writing projects and things like that. And the guy basically said, like, we have a system where you can build a profile, you can, like, put up some, like, writing that you've done. Like, even if it's just you make it on the spot, like, right now, you can post it on your profile, and then people can come in and choose to pay for your services. And the guy basically says, said to me, he's like, listen, if a week or two goes by and you don't get any services from anybody, like nobody wants you to service, like, you know, do any writing work for them or anything, if you don't get any calls back or any notifications within a week or two, we'll refund you 100%. And I was like, all right, well, you're not sounding like you're trying to rip me off, and 1 week is within the 30-day guarantee refund. So, you know, and he was already good to go to, like, refund me right then and there. And I was like, you know what, I'll give you guys a week. You know, I'll give you guys 1 week, and, you know, if I'm not seeing what I want to see, I want my money back. And they're like, that's fine. Like, keep in touch with us. And the guy was really helpful. He even, like, contacted me through email, and he kind of discussed, like, my options with me. He sounded pretty professional. He wasn't being, like, a sleazeball or anything. So, you know, I get the impression that, like, it is a professionally run business. It's just not the kind of service that I originally envisioned it to be. So, you know, I'm not 100% sure about it yet, but we'll see. If, like, I get some feedback in, like, a week of somebody wanting to buy my services for writing or something like that, then maybe. But yeah, I've been kind of, like, working on those kinds of things as, like, side projects to try and get some extra cash in. Also with the possibility of, you know, if those things would work out, it would be cool having, like, a steady stream of cash coming in, just from doing something that I'm already good at, where I don't have to, like, leave the house or anything like that. Coffee. Always coffee. Always coffee. Let me catch up on the chat log a little bit. Let's see here. It takes hours to make a 10-minute video. It's all good. Yeah, it does. It did. It took me all day yesterday to create that little honey pop video. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. I mean, I know it's not doing too well, which is fine. It's fine. That kind of thing doesn't bother me, but, I sank a lot of time into it, and I'm really proud with what I was able to do with it, because, as long as I'm gaining the skills that I need to be able to create videos like that, then that's good enough for me, because that's opening the doorway to future projects, which is something I really need. Cindy says he's lurking. Hey, Crepsy, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you earlier. Glad to have you in here. Cobalt says, I've seen some stuff about Honey Pop. I think I'll take a hard pass on both games. It's a good game. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Like, yes, it's a very graphic game. However, it's so fun. It's so fun. It's such a fun game. So, I mean, like, even if you weren't necessarily there for the graphic material, the game is just fun. Like, I mean, and yes, you can go and play Bejeweled or, you know, like Candy Crush or something, sure. But, I mean, Candy Crush doesn't have sexy ladies, man. Like, come on. Hey, Over Gamers, glad to have you in here, buddy. Thanks for jumping in. DLG says, are you saying in a game of shirts versus skins, it's a one-sided game? Maybe? I must be missing the reference on that. By the way, from the very beginning, I do have to say, guys, from the very beginning of the new Honey Pop game, it is so graphic. Guys, it is so graphic. Like, they waste no time, like, at all. No time at all. Like, in the first Honey Pop game, they, like, really make you work hard for any graphic images. They make you work your butt off for it. But in Honey Pop 2, they just give it away. Like, they don't even care. They don't even care. They just throw it at you. It's nuts. Like I said, I wasn't expecting that I was going to have to heavily edit the first video I did. But man, oh man, was I wrong. Wow, it's out there, man. It is out there. So yeah, and let me catch up on the comments, and I'll kind of jump into that just a little bit more. Krebsy says, "Yeah, we've had a solid week of beautiful weather, and now it's the first rain of the new year." Well, there you go. It's been kind of raining on and off here and there. It's been very muddy where I'm located, lots of mud, which is very annoying because it cakes on to my shoes, and then I have to like try really hard to like scrape it off my boots before I come in. Really obnoxious. It's March 10th. Happy Mario Day. Oh, is it like Mario's birthday? I think I remember seeing that in like a Twitter post today or something like that. Krebsy says, I totally agree with the streaming makes me lazy sentiment. I replaced real content with streaming for a good 6 months. Yeah, it does, because, like, it's really weird because, like, when you stream a lot, like, what happens is your whole day becomes built around your streaming schedule. So, like, the whole beginning of your day is dedicated towards preparing yourself for a stream. And then once the stream is over, it's like you clocked out for the day. So, like, then you just, like, don't really want to do anything at all for the rest of the day, and which is nice. Like, don't get me wrong, I really like that, but with the way that I'm trying to kind of diversify my content and get more kinds of videos and things like that out there, I can't completely depend on just streaming every single day and having my entire schedule revolve around streaming. I want to do different things, like I'm as you guys have very clearly noticed, I'm doing lots of different kinds of content, just trying new things, and I want to get a little bit of everything. I want to learn a lot of stuff. That's what I really want. Oh, Cinder, you'll be streaming in no time. Just chill your nips. Chill your nips, bro. You'll be fine. You're gonna be fine. Just chill your nips. Things are gonna go back to normal in a while, buddy. Just keep working on those videos. Like, think of it this way. Like, remember what I was saying earlier about how I can't stream right now because I have to, like, worry about important phone calls coming in. And I can't have important phone calls coming in if I'm in the middle of a stream. Like, it's rude to the people that I'm streaming to, and it's especially rude to the people who I need to be in contact with on the phone. So, like, Cindy, I can't stream that much either right now. Like, I'm streaming right now, clearly. But the only reason why is because it's later in the evening, which is kind of like, they're not going to call me. Like, I've kind of figured out that after, like, 4 o'clock or 5 p.m., they don't really call me because that's the end of their general workday. So, I'm totally convinced they're not going to call me today, which is why I'm getting away with doing a stream now. But other than that, I can't have the same streaming schedule as I did before because I have to be concerned about important phone calls coming in. So what I'm doing is, because I can't have my attention focused on my streaming right now, I'm putting all of my focus on making video content. And that's forcing me to, like, learn new things and, like, make new kinds of content and produce videos. And I'm really grateful that I kind of have been forced into that situation, because now I'm spending more time and resources on learning what I need to know to become a better video content producer. And you should look at it that way too. Like, if you don't have the time, like, if you don't have the ability to stream, don't look at it as like a curse that is preventing you from doing streaming. Look at it as a blessing for you to, like, improve your videos. Like, make more videos, make higher quality videos, like, spend your time learning new types of video editing, spend your time maybe trying different kinds of video content. Like, just because one door closes doesn't mean all your doors are closed. Like, if you can't stream, make videos, like just refocus yourself, like, redirect your attention in different areas that you are available to do so. Because, just, there's always something you can be doing. If you're a creative person, like I know you are, Cindy, you can be working on something, and you can make something good. But you need to not be so focused on, like, all the bad stuff. Like, if you need to close that door for a while because of so-and-so reasons, then fine. Refocus your attention on what doors are open and available to you. You know what I'm saying? Just refund it for not wait. It's fine. Like, the thing is that they'll refund me, like, even a week from now, so I'm not super worried about it. Krebsy says Habs just has a just feet only fans confirmed. Oh my god. Ugh. Join my Patreon. Okay, that's the next topic I'm going to get into. I'm going to read some more comments. Try not to get too off focus here. And because I want to talk about my Patreon, because that's a huge deal right now. Especially because of the new content that I'm producing. Fiverr is a free-to-use site for stuff like that. Yeah, that's another thing that, like, I've had a couple people recommend me Fiverr. I'll take a look at that a little bit better. March 10th is Mario in a date format. Oh, is it not actually his birthday or something? Like 4 days to Pi Day? Okay. Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, Fajouk, glad to have you in here, buddy. Bad wrath, bad boo. 10 out of 10 joke. 3.14 of sailors are pirates. Yuck. Cindy says, yes, I get it, but I really enjoy streaming. It's not being focused on my bad stuff. It was just the case I would hate my RL job. Well, it's just like I enjoy streaming too. Like, you can't, like, I'm not sitting here in front of a camera because I hate it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy streaming, but I'm also aware that it's not constantly an option that is available to me all the time. You know, like, it's just that, like, I get that you really enjoy it, but you also need to remember that, like, and it's not saying that, like, you need to diversify, like, you absolutely have to do this thing. It's that, like, anytime that you're not able to do something like that, you should try to, like, remind yourself of the things that you can do, you know? Because, like, if you get too wrapped up in your misery, then all you're going to do is be miserable. You know what I mean? So, like, don't see it... Like I said, like, it was kind of like what I was talking about with, like, when I was kind of having to refocus how, like, my time and, like, what I'm using it for. Like, I had to realize that I can't use it for streaming right now in the same schedule that I had available to me before. So I'm instead repurposing it to do something else that I really enjoy, which is, as of currently, video content creation. And I'm, like, learning new things and being productive with that time available. It's... If you're... Like, all I'm trying to say is that it's kind of like when I was talking about the other things. Remember in the other stream where I was saying, like, if something is... Because I was talking about businesses, people buying into businesses that make them miserable, and then, like, you know, buying a product that makes them miserable, and then they're just miserable. That goes with this, too. Like, if you're focusing so hard on being miserable, then all you're gonna get out of it is just being miserable. So, like, don't be so focused on what's making you miserable. Go and, like, do something else that is constructive and fun and productive and that you enjoy and that your fan base enjoys. Like, don't wrap yourself in misery. Like, I'm a very anti-misery kind of person, you guys. Like, I feel like that, like, you know, I tell people all the time, like, follow your dreams. And, like, I feel like the additional, like, piece of, you know, advice to that is... You know, number 1, follow your dreams. Number 2, don't be miserable. Like, stop wrapping yourself in being miserable. Like, it's not productive and it's not fun. Like, and there's no reason for you to make yourself miserable. Follow your dreams, do what you love. Don't be miserable, okay? Like, that's what I'm trying to say. And, like, if you look hard enough, like, all you have to do is look at what's making you miserable. And then you have to consciously say to yourself, this thing that I'm focused on is making me miserable. So I'm going to, well, I mean, obviously, like, if it's something that's really important in your life, like, obviously make sure that you're dealing with it and you're not just, you know, ignoring it. But the thing is that you don't need to be constantly focused on what's making you miserable. Yeah, maybe it's a problem that needs to be solved, but, like, while you're in the process of solving that problem, like I said, like, Cinder Shadow, you are in the process of solving the problem that's making you miserable. You've already been in contact with your internet provider. You've talked with them, like, you know, about dealing with the problem. They're doing everything they can to help you. So clearly, you are in the process of solving the problem that's making you miserable. But being focused on it constantly, the only thing that's going to do is just make you more miserable, and it's not being productive. So, like, accept the fact that you have done what you need to do to solve the problem. Now that you are knowledge, like now that you have acknowledged that you have put yourself into the situation where you are solving the problem and it's being worked on, you can now push that out of the way and focus on something that's not going to make you miserable. Go and do something that you enjoy. Work on a project that you enjoy. Because the problem that's making you miserable doesn't need to be focused on if you're in the process of solving it. So just ignore it and go do something you love. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, you can solve the problem that's making you miserable and then put it out of your mind until it's fully solved and not a problem anymore, and go do something that makes you happy. Okay. Like, I'm very serious about that, you guys. Like, I just want you guys to understand that, like, you don't need to be miserable. You really don't. And, like, you know, like, you can have a problem being solved and put it aside and go do something that doesn't make you miserable. To take your mind off of the thing that's making you miserable. Like, it's fine. Let's see here. Fajouk says, focusing on 100% of the negative is why I stopped supporting a particular Twitch streamer. I get that, man. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, and, you know, that, it goes with everything. Like, it goes with buying products from a company you hate. It goes with, you know, having a problem in your life that's making you miserable, but it needs to be solved. It goes with what kind of media you're absorbing that makes you miserable versus makes you happy. Like, it's in all sorts of different things, and you always have the power and the choice within you to, like, either choose to be miserable by focusing on it, whether you have power over it or not, or you can go and do something that you actually enjoy or that makes you happy or whatever. Like, you do not need to be constantly miserable. It's just not the way that things have to be. Krebsy says, I actually cut some streaming to make more real content. There you go, buddy. And even cut streaming on Sunday night to work on a second channel. That's pretty cool. I don't even know if the second channel will take off. Irons in the fire, dig. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Like, legit. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Multiple doors. You know, like, you don't only need one door. Like, you can have lots of different options. And when one door closes, you can have all these other doors that are open and available to you. That's exactly right, Krebsy. Cindy says, yeah, streaming helps ground my mental health too. Making edited videos, oh my god, I need so much time. That video of you and me playing Phasmophobia took 2 days. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, when I was working on the 10-minute honeypot video, that took me, I started it at 4 p.m. and didn't finish it until midnight. So, like, I get that, but, you know, like I said, I also don't, here's the thing, Cindy, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't think it's a good idea to tie your mental health to streaming. I don't see that as something very healthy. Because, in my opinion, is you should have a good mental well-being, and then being able to stream should allow you to share that healthy mental well-being with other people. So, like, you know, depending on streaming, like, as if it's going to make you mentally healthier, is like depending on cigarettes to make you mentally healthier. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I need to smoke this cigarette in order to, like, feel good about myself and to feel like I'm mentally stable. Like, I mean, I definitely like, especially, like, when I'm in a bad mood, I definitely love getting on camera and sitting in front of some people and chatting. But, like, at the same time, like, even if I'm in a bad mood, like, whether I go on stream or not, I always know that I'm going to be better eventually, whether or not I stream, you know? So, like, I don't think it's necessarily a healthy thing to be tying your mental well-being to streaming. I don't feel like that's a healthy thing to do, buddy. Stay in Play says, I'm still here just playing COD and having my hair braided. Okay, it's all good, Stay in Play. I get you're a lurky girl. It's all good, girlfriend. Fajouk says, I understand that I make videos to help my mental health. Yeah, well, I mean, like I said, guys, I just don't, I mean, it's good. It's good to have that, you know, I think that the better way to look at it is that it's good to be working on something. Because, like, I would say that, like, the process of working on something is cathartic. Like, working on, like, because I've been doing that a lot, too. Like, when I'm in a really bad mood or I'm having a bad day, I find myself working on, the various different projects with my channel and things like that. And it's cathartic. It's good to be working on something. I think that what I'm trying to say is that it's not good to tie your mental well-being to, like, I would say that, like, oh, I need to make, like, saying I need to make videos or I need to stream to be mentally healthy, I think that's not good. But I think saying that the process of working on something like streaming or making videos is helping me cope with whatever I'm dealing with. Because that's true for me too. Like I said, like I can be in a bad mood and then I can do a stream or work on a video and I feel better. But I also know that, like I said, like, I know that I'm usually going to get through whatever I'm dealing with, and I don't necessarily depend on any one particular... I don't depend on things outside of myself for my overall mental well-being, Yeah, I'm trying to, like, I don't want to, like, make it sound like as if, like, it's not good to be, working on something because you're mentally unhealthy. I just don't think that it's the difference between choosing to work on something to make you feel better versus depending on working on something to make yourself feel better. You know what I mean? Let's see. Cindy says I'm not being miserable. Well, dude, sometimes with some of the conversations you and me have, I mean, like, I keep trying to, like, tell you that, like, things are gonna work out, and every once in a while you challenge me on it, buddy, and it's like, I don't know, like, what you want me to tell you, you know what I mean? Cause, like, Cindy, listen, dude, you're a very good friend of mine, okay? And I'm like, as you and me being friends, like, as one friend to another very good friend, I'm genuinely concerned about you, okay? So, like, because I consider you to be my friend, and I want to be honest with my friend, and I'm genuinely concerned about you, like, I'm just trying to look out for you, and let me tell you, like, when I feel like that you are making yourself miserable, I'm not saying that because I'm trying to make you feel bad or anything like that. It's because it seems like you're making yourself miserable when you don't need to. Like, and I mean, I'm sorry if that kind of offends you, but, like, you're my friend, dude, and I want, like, to tell you what I think is, an issue that, you might need to kind of concern yourself about. Like, I don't know, I might be getting a little, too deep on that, and maybe I should leave it be, but, I worry about you, brother, and I get worried that sometimes you bend yourself out of shape about it when you don't need to. Let's see, Krebsy does magic openings. They don't get many clicks, but they make you happy. That's good, buddy. Stay in Place says I'm going to start recording Fall Guys and WOT alongside Bloodborne. That sounds pretty fun. Very neat, very neat. Cindy says, why do I feel like I just ended up in a self-help stream? LOL. By the way, I'm not miserable. I understand the crap that sucks, but that is out of my control. When I started streaming, I was in a horrible place. Yeah, I mean, I just want, like, the people that I care about, like, because I have, like, like, people that, I consider to be really good friends online. In fact, it's actually, I would almost say it might even be kind of sad that there are multiple people, which include Cinder Shadow and Magic Historian, like, I consider them closer friends than a lot of people that I know in my actual real life around me. I do have two extremely, extremely close best friends that I have in my real life that I would never replace with anybody. Diehard good friends. Both of them have even done things that have been basically, like, life-saving kind of things, where, like, literally, like, my life was in their hands and they kind of, like, saved me and helped me out. So, I mean, those people I could never, replace or anything like that. Like, and I only have two friends like that in my real life. But other than those two people, I don't really have many people in my life that I'm actually close with. I would actually say that outside of my two closest friends that I have in real life, my best friends are like all online pretty much, like the people that I communicate with on a regular basis through my channel and through my social media and stuff like that. And I mean, there's definitely been some talks, like some discussions I've been witness to, like whether it's in podcasts or whatever, where it's like, oh, well, is it like unhealthy to be closer with people online that you've never met and rather than people that you know in your real life? And it's like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, I mean, I do have my two very close friends in real life, and we go out and we do things every once in a while, and I care about them, and they care about me. But I'm okay with, the majority of the people that I'm close with are just people that I know online, and I've never actually met them in real life. He says, start with good mental health, mental footing first. In case your outlet for release is absent for a while. That's why I quit making MTGA decks as a mainstay for my channel. They were making me miserable, it showed. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to discuss, is like, I really feel like that, like, I think it, like I said, like with the idea that, creating content online can be cathartic and doing, things that you enjoy and working and stuff like that can be cathartic. I don't feel like that your mental health should be dependent on it. I think that people should be mentally stable, comfortable with themselves and who they are and what they're doing in their lives, first. And then have those hobbies and having those hobbies and things that they do which helps them relax and unwind and be happy, but not in a dependent fashion. Like, because what that turns into is that turns into obsession, and eventually it turns into something that can be dangerous, where it's like, the only reason, because then you get people who, that are like, oh, well, the only reason why, because I've seen people who get so obsessed with the content that they work on that, they start obsessing, because when you're obsessed with the content that you work on and your mental health depends on it, then you start having situations where people that, are content creators can be obsessed with how people receive the content that they're creating. So, when you have a large number of people, I actually watched a documentary on YouTube about this. I watched a documentary on YouTube that was talking about a guy who, his mental well-being was so obsessed with the content that he was creating that in turn caused him to focus on how his audience received the content which his mental well-being depended on. And then he started gaining really unhealthy, habits of, people that were treating him badly, caused him to, endanger his own life in different ways. And he started, retaliating against people and creating bad PR with the content that he made. And he was constantly obsessed with how well anything he did was received by the general audience. And that in turn affected his overall mental state. And that's why I'm saying, I don't think it's a good thing to depend your mental well-being on the content you're creating. You need to be mentally stable first, and then use the content that you're creating as something that can relieve you, but not something that you depend on. Let's see. Ratherwood says, I'm always working on something to keep my mind off the struggle of life. Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because, that's, the cathartic thing I was talking about. Where it's, it's just a release. It's not dependent, Let's see. Well, I mean, but the thing is, too, though, Cinder, when you say that, because I'm reading your comment about, the me misunderstanding the mental health thing, but the thing is that, you need to also be able to recognize that you can, operate and function, without being able to do the streaming stuff, or making video content. And And that's what I'm saying is because, like, if, like, because you're, like, I'm just trying to say, like, you don't need to be so wrapped up in, like, oh, like, my channel is falling apart because I can't stream. Because I don't agree with that. I don't think your channel's falling apart. Like, I don't think you're, like, I know you released a video talking about how, like, oh, you know, like, streaming is the majority of my views, and, like, it's such a big impact on my content, and blah, 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 and it's like, well, then, I just don't think that it's, you know, as bad as you're making it out to be, you know, and the idea that, like, like, knowing that you don't need to make content to be a happy person is important. I know that, like, I can do other things. Like, I can do writing. Like, I can paint. You know, like, I can, there's lots of different things that I do outside of my channel that I don't necessarily, like, I can cook, you know, and I have cooked on my channel a couple times, and I paint, and I have painted on my channel a couple times, and I also write. That's not something I've done on my channel, but there's a lot of different things that I can do that don't involve me making content for my channel, but they keep me personally happy, and I was doing those things before I made my channel. I was painting before I made my channel. I was cooking before I made my channel. I've been writing since I was, like, very small, and those are things that I know that I can do, and I don't depend on making content. It's not something that I'm 100% totally dependent on. Like, and that's what I'm saying is because, like, if you find yourself in a situation where you feel like your life will essentially be over if you're not making content, then I would say that that's not a healthy thing to do. Like, that's not healthy. You know? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, target you or attack you, Cinder. I'm just trying to say that, like, you need to make sure that, like, you're gonna be okay and know that you're gonna be okay. And, like, that's why I'm trying to, like, say to you, like, you know, the fact that you can't stream is not the end of the world, dude. Like, there's so many things available to you, you know? Like, I'm just worried that it's coming out the wrong way, but, I mean, I care about you, dude, like, and I just want to make sure that you're doing okay, because, you know, like, I'm a little worried about how you treat yourself. I feel like you're also, like, really hard on yourself, like, unnecessarily hard on yourself, too. Yeah, but see, but that's the thing, because, like, so, Cinder, I'm reading the comment, and that became habit forming. So, like, habit forming. So, in other words, you're depending on it, which I would say is not a healthy thing. I really enjoy it, and now something I really enjoy that is a habit, like an addiction, like, say, depending on smoking cigarettes, is now placed on the back burner. So, in other words, you're, like, it sounds like you're telling me that you need, like, a fix. You know how, like, not good that sounds? Like, you understand what I'm saying, right? Like, I'm trying really hard to, like, help you out, like, as a friend. And, like, you can understand how I'm reading that sentence and, like, I can immediately say, like, there's a red flag going up when I read that sentence. That doesn't sound healthy, dude. Being able to hang out with people is necessary sometimes, Crepsy, says Crepsy. Oh, hell for gamers. Thank you for loving my face. I appreciate it. I'm sorry, I'm really behind on the comments, because I'm kind of trying to dissect every single one. Fajuk says, I'm going through various people's YouTube's channels, and it's always weird to find one video on a person's channel that has a ton more views than the rest. Yeah, that was something I was actually discussing with Cindy a while ago. I actually learned some things about YouTube's algorithm that I didn't understand before, after discussing it with Cinder Shadow a little bit. And I was kind of surprised because with the way that Cindy was talking to me about it, he apparently knew about it. And I was like, oh, damn, like, I learned something new, but apparently you knew about this the whole time. But yeah, so I learned some new things about how YouTube's algorithm functions, and definitely took me by surprise because I started getting recommended some weird channels based on video and sound content rather than, like, descriptions and titles, which was something that I did not realize the algorithm was capable of doing. Let's see here. Krebsy says it's dangerous to tie self-value to your content. You could really spiral. Well, that's exactly... Well, that's what I was talking about, is because, like I said, I watched that documentary about a guy that did exactly that, and it was super unhealthy, and it was really sad watching him, you know, through watching the documentary. It was sad watching this guy spiral out of control because, you know, he was so dependent on how well received his content was that it basically caused his mental health and his channel to suffer. Cindy says, at this point, since I started daily videos, I have had to step back and just let the content flow, though I am starting to reach to make some content. Well, I mean, I think you could do it, dude. Like, I mean, there's always content to be made out there. Like, you can't forget that. Like, I mean, I know that, like, this is something the Magic historian talks about a lot, is that, like, you know, like, when it comes to Magic, he can always take anything, just about anything, and make content out of it. Like, he can take, like, a singular card of, like, any kind and make, like, whatever he wants out of it, you know? And, like, you have the, like, and that's just the Magic historian focusing on Magic cards, you know? Cindy, your channel is so much wider than that. Like, yes, your Magic content, you know, does more work for you overall, and it, you know, kind of is a focal point. But you're not called Cinder Shadow Magic. You're called Cinder Shadow Gaming. Like, and I would even say that even just sticking to gaming is, you know, like, you can do a lot with that. Like, you could even expand further than that if you wanted to. But there's constantly, like, you just have to have the drive to, like, look for it. Like, dude, Cindy, I made a video about eating a Cadbury cream egg. That's content, bro. Like, come on, man. You can do it. I believe in you, dude. Cindy, you are such a smart man, okay? You're a very extremely intelligent and hardworking man, okay? I'm being totally genuine and serious with you right now. You are an extremely intelligent and hardworking person. You can do this, dude. You're too hard on yourself. You can make content. You're not like, you know, it's one of those things that I was saying again. If you're so focused on worrying about the flow of content, then that's going to be a problem for you. Don't be focused on what your problems are. Focused on what you want to do. Like, you know, if you want to talk about, like, I mean, you did that video a while ago that was really successful. Didn't you do a video about the I think it was Metallica playing for Twitch? And if I remember correctly, you did that video and it did really, really well. Like, really well, Cinder. If I remember correctly, that was the one that I'm thinking of. Like, wasn't it the one about Metallica on Twitch that was really, really successful for you? Like, that is a clear sign that you can make really good content that's really successful and people will consume it. Like, you don't need to make gaming content. You don't need to make Magic content. You can make anything you want and you can make it work, dude. Like, don't box yourself in. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. Clearly, like, you're a smart dude and you know how to make content. Like, you can do this, bro. I fell behind again. Let's see. Be back shortly, says Hell for Gamers to the store. Gotta go to the store before dinner. Alright, Hell for Gamers. I'll see you in a little while, homie. No worries. Very hard to do daily content. I only do 3 videos a week. I want to up it to 4, but that would probably thin me out. I do 3 to 4 different types of videos and drop 1 each week. Well, that's all good, man. Like, yeah, everybody kind of has their own pace. I was doing, like, a stream a day for, like, a month, you know? And that was really fun, but also I have, like, other priorities now, so I can't really keep up with that the same way I was before. If I, you know, I would love to be a full-time content creator, but I have a ways to go before I can get there. And that's okay, you know, I can do what I need to do and still entertain you guys as best as I can. Fajouk says, you make good videos no matter how long they take to make. Well, there you go. That's encouraging words from Fajouk. Stay in Place says, as Canadians, we are constantly hard on ourselves for not being better. Yeah. It's just, I don't, you know, like, you can't be too hard on yourself, you know, because, like, when you get into the cycle of beating yourself up, like, you find, what happens is, when you beat yourself up about things like that, you start being so depressed that you don't do anything. And then you become, like, the beaten up person. Like, you know, like, when you start telling yourself, like, oh, I'm worthless, oh, I can't do this, oh, I'm miserable, like, oh, like life is terrible and like, you know, I can't do anything and blah, blah, blah. When you put yourself down in that way, you become that because you're so miserable. You don't want to work on anything. You don't want to create things. And like you become, you know, what you're depicting yourself as, whether it's true or not. And like, you can't do that to yourself because that's not fair to you, you know? Let's see here. Fajouk says aim for 2 to 3 weeks, videos a week. Mental health does not let that work out, and I go for a week, so without any videos. Well, I mean, you know, but that's the thing too, is like, make sure you have that time to yourself too. Like, I've taken days off because I was really depressed. I've done that multiple times. Like, you know, it's very common for me to take days off because I'm really depressed. I go through fluctuations of depression. And like, I'm not afraid to take days off, you know, like it's fine. I think that people should be able to do that for themselves, you know, like don't feel like that you're this, you know, unstoppable thing that doesn't need a day off, you know, to like mentally recollect yourself. Like, I mean, like, for example, there are a couple of very large YouTubers that I watch, and multiple of those very large YouTubers I watch, they all had to like go and they were like, hey, I need to like step away for like a week or like 2 weeks to like collect my thoughts and deal with some things that are going on in my life. Like, so I'm not going to be making any content. So here's the thing. If these really large YouTubers that have like multiple millions of subscribers need to have like time off to like collect their thoughts and deal with some depression or whatever, like, you do too. Everybody needs that time to themselves. Like, it's a natural thing, and everybody deserves it. Cindy says, the 1 week without the streaming, my views dropped off 30%, which is insane. That drop-off effect on the channel in the long run, so yeah, there is worry about... Like, dude, don't, like, do that. Like, stop it. You're, like, stop. Like, you're so obsessed with these numbers. Like, you need to stop. Like, so here's the thing. Okay, Cindy, so here's the thing. All right. Can you do anything about that right now? Like, is it something that can be immediately fixed just like that with the snap of your fingers? Can you instantaneously and magically make that work and fix it? I don't think you can. So the only thing I can tell you to do is stop stressing out about it, and things will go back to normal once everything is fixed. Like, this is, like, the problem you have yourself in right now is not this is not the rest of your life, okay? You're gonna come out and, like things are gonna be fixed. Like, your internet's gonna be fixed. You're gonna be able to make content again. Like, you're gonna be able to stream again. So, like, stop beating yourself up about it. Like, you know, like, just don't. Like, don't. God, I'm so far behind on the comments, and there's so many things I wanted to talk about. Let's see here. I'm gonna just kind of keep up with the most recent chats because I've fallen so far behind because of all the monologues I do. Cindy says the Metallica video had a ton of YouTube issues with it though, so I'm not counting on it as a good video. More something I have learned from. But, like, I think the thing that you need to take from that is that, like, you can make all sorts of different kinds of content, and, like, you don't need to be boxing yourself in, dude. Yeah, I know I monologue a lot, DLG. I know I do that. 13 minutes ago, I'll watch that in a bit. Well, there you go. Dez is a good dude who uploads good content. Modern Horizons is in disarray. Yeah, whatever. It's just stupid magic stuff. Okay, more stupid magic stuff. Yeah, more Dez being awesome and magic being stupid. Got it. Stay and play. I like Dez and most of his views. I think he's only half right on some issues, but whoopity-doo. We don't agree on everything. Big deal. Tells that he likes it, and his second channels. Okay, well, I mean, but that's the thing too, is like, I like to think that me and Desolator are friends at this point. Like, I've actually now had enough conversations with him, and that, like, I feel like that we're friends, and I really enjoy him. I don't necessarily agree with everything he does all the time, but I'm absolutely positive that he feels exactly the same about me. But the thing is like I I don't even agree with Magic Historian all the time. Like, I've definitely heard him say some things that I heavily disagree with before, but like, we're still friends. Like, I don't hate the Magic Historian because I don't agree with him all the time, and that's the same with Desolator too. Like, like, I like him a lot, and I think he's a good person, and he's very friendly. And he's, the conversations I've had with him have been very nice, and he's a very wonderful dude when it's just me and him chatting with each other. But I mean, I also don't need to agree with him 100%, because in all honesty, if I agreed with anybody 100%, that would be really weird. Like, I don't even agree 100% with my best friends, like, that I know in real life, so, what have I got going on, Cindy? Yeah, that's right. I wanted to kind of talk about the Patreon a bit. Let me read Stay and Play's comment real quick. I've had a few good combos with Dez, but I think more interaction is needed. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude when you talk with him one-on-one, for sure. Like, and I'll be honest, like, I don't watch all of Desolator's videos. I watch some of them here and there. But I'm not a heavy, content consumer of Desolator. But but it's just because it's Magic. Like, most of what he does is Magic, and I'm not a Magic person. But, I enjoy him as a person. So, which is kind of how I feel about Magic Historian. I don't really watch the Magic Historian's videos much anymore. I don't really consume his content as much as I used to. But I still love him to death as a person, and that's how I feel about Desolator as well, is, like, I really like him as a person, and that's more than enough for me to kind of just enjoy who he is. Let's see. I consider the majority of the people in this chat to be at least friend level. Like, there's a big reason I wanted to get Discord going so I could talk with you guys personally sometimes. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know, Cindy. I'm just waiting for him to get back to me about it. He actually contacted me, and he told me that he was setting something up for me and him to do together. So I'm just leaving it in his hands, and I don't want to bother him about it, because I don't want to be annoying. So I'm just going to let him do his thing, and he'll get back to me when he's ready. Yeah, so, Patreon. This is a big deal. So and I said that I was going to do this, but I put it off until I released my most recent video, which is the Honey Pop video. I am heavily changing my Patreon. Mostly that what's starting to happen is, and this is not going to be for every video I make, this is going to be for very specific kinds of videos. And the Honey Pop video that I released today was kind of the breaching point of me getting things set up on Patreon in the way that I need to. So Patreon is now officially a unique content platform for me. So what that means is, and I kind of I mentioned it in the description of today's Honey Pop video, and I also talked about it very little in my Discord server, but I think it would be proper for me to actually talk about it in my content, like this stream right now. So Patreon has now officially become a content platform for me, which means I will be releasing videos here and there, depending on what kind of content it is, onto Patreon. Now, what Patreon is allowing me to do that is not allowed on YouTube is Patreon allows you to release content that has nudity in it. And also other kinds of graphic things that YouTube would otherwise not allow. And that's with the stipulation, of course, that, I mean, I haven't read all the fine print about it, but the main reason for that is because the content that is released on Patreon is specifically directed at people who are patrons of my Patreon membership. So that means that I can have a very specific target audience. I don't have to worry about it being this crazy public thing that everybody's able to have access to, especially when it comes to the worries of having to deal with, like whether or not children are gaining access to it or something like that. So what that means is I am releasing content on Patreon that is, first of all, they're early releases. So, for example, last night at 1 in the morning, because that's when I was when I had finished the Honey Pop video. Last night at 1 a.m., I had done an early release of the Honey Pop video that I had released this afternoon. So that is the first major privilege that is available to Patreon members. Patreon members will now have the ability to gain access to sensitive content earlier than YouTube would get it. Now, that is not a guarantee for all content I make. So it's possible that that may change. In other words, maybe if I gain the ability to do so and I get a little more comfortable with my content creation, it is very likely, it is possible that I will get into a habit of releasing all content that I produce on YouTube early on Patreon. So, and that could be a day or two, depending on when I finish the material and when I release it on YouTube. Now, I don't think that I will be doing things where, it's released a week ahead of time, but I think I might go as far to say the maximum number would maybe be 2 days, maybe 1 full day. Or it could just be like how I did this video, which is the day before. So, I had released the Honey Pop video early on Patreon at 1 in the morning last night, because that's when I had finished doing all the editing. And I put it on there, and so that was an early release. The second part of that is what I was basically saying earlier, which is the material on Patreon is uncensored. So that means that when you watch the Honey Pop video, that beautiful, and I'm quite proud of myself, okay? I worked very hard on learning how to censor the material that I put on YouTube today. However, the material that I put on Patreon does not have the censorship. It doesn't have all the blur mosaic that I set up. So, if you watch the material on Patreon, it's all exposed. It's out there in the open, so you get to experience every little bit of it, whether you want to or not. So, I mean, you always have the choice to, watch the blurred stuff on YouTube for free. But that's the major thing, is that it'll be uncensored. And yeah. So whenever I make content that requires me to censor things, I'm in the process of working on the Honey Pop series, the Honey Pop 2 series. That entire series is going to be released early on Patreon. And also, it'll be uncensored. And guys, let me tell you, the nudity gets really in your face in Honey Pop 2. So, if you're really wanting to see the nudie photos on Honey Pop 2, Patreon is the place to be. But I will be censoring it like normal for the YouTube releases and things like that. And this is also kind of... Oh, hi! Yaz Armstrong, glad to have you in here, buddy. Thank you for coming in and joining. I saw your comment earlier today. And like I said, I thought I answered it properly. So I hope you enjoyed that. Anyways, let me continue on. So this is a major deal because this has opened the floodgates to me doing my content like this on a regular basis. So... you guys, any Patreon members will have access to content early, based on whether I choose to do so or not. And also, it will be fully uncensored if it is censored material. And this will also encourage me to do more, possibly graphic or adult style videos in the future. Yeah, specifically probably with games or other kinds of material like that. You guys ain't getting any nudie pics from me, guys. No. That's not what... no OnlyFans on Patreon right now. Nope, that's no nudie photos of me, guys. But if I'm playing a game that has nudie photos in it, then Patreon's the place to be. And that's really what I wanted to talk about, because those are some major changes, and it's kind of a combination of I thought it would be nice to kind of have the uncut material put on Patreon, you know, and also released early as a thank you to the people who are actively supporting me to keep the channel running. So that's kind of, I wanted to at some point give back to you guys, the people who, you know, support me in that way. And so that is officially my first step to make the effort to give back to the people who are currently paying me for all the work that I've been doing on the channel. So early releases on Patreon and uncensored material on Patreon. So that is the place to be if you want that. And as I said, members only. So you gotta pay if you wanna see the goods. If you wanna see the goods, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, guys, with Honey Pop 2, those Patreon members, they're in for a goddamn treat. Like, I promise you. The first episode that I did today, the first recording I did of Honey Pop 2, I didn't think they were going to go as... Like, it was just the very beginning of the game. And, like, they left no subtlety whatsoever. None! None at all! Like, I didn't even have to work for it. Like, they were just like, here's all the graphic stuff for free. You didn't even have to work on it. And I was like, Jesus Christ, Honey Pop 2. Good God. Like, I didn't even have to work for it. All right, so now that I've laid that announcement out, I'm going to catch up a little bit more. Let's see here. Where did I leave off? Let's see. Stay in place as I let my friends use my real name. Okay. All right. Krebsy says it's like, okay, so you guys are talking about being friends online. Yeah, like, I feel like I have a lot of very good friends who, like, I consider a lot of the people that I converse with online on a regular basis as friends, because, like, I mean, I'll be honest, like, you know, a lot of you guys are a lot better than some of the people that I know on a regular basis in my real life. It's kind of sad. Yeah, we definitely have a community going here, which is really nice. Let's see. I should log on to Patreon sometime this year. Yeah, Fajouk, check it out. Like, I posted the, because you're a member on there, so you can definitely get on there and check it out. I have the uncensored video on Patreon, and I also put a little announcement kind of talking about it as well. I bet by the time Mr. Habanero reads this, I will be gone. Okay, well, I hope you're still here, buddy, but that's okay. Let's see. Ratherwood says, not safe for work Patreon. Confirmed. Hard and firm. Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. I also had to do some research today. I actually, after doing my first recording for Honey Pop 2, I actually, because I was way surprised with how graphic it got so quickly, that I was like, oh my god, like, I need to go to other channels who have done Honey Pop 2 playthroughs, and I need to see how they're handling the material. Just so I can get an idea of what I need to do for my own videos. And I was really surprised with how, because like some of them have like light censorship and some of them have full censorship, and some of them are like censoring out like some of the sound effects, and other channels are not censoring out sound effects, and then some of them are censoring out curse words, which was really weird. But like, you know, there were, like, some big channels that were, like, left the curse words in and didn't care, and also cursed themselves. And then there was, like, a couple of channels I saw that were censoring out the curse words, but then the content creators would be cursing. So it was very weird. I saw, like, a lot of different channels handling the censorship in a lot of different ways, but it gave me a basic idea on what I think I'm going to do for censoring my videos in the way that I need to do it. Let's see here. Yeah, there's definitely... Stan Play's excited about titties. Absolutely. Hey, G, what's up, buddy? Glad to have you in here, buddy. Just talking about all the changes I made to the Patreon and talking about the new content I'm working on. Let's see. DLG says we may not get the picks, but the huge question is, will you play the games Sans Pantalones? I don't know. I am, like, I actually found out that Honey Pop 2 allows you to kind of, like, cover things up with underwear. However, I'm just going to take the safe route and just censor it. So, like, for example, like, theoretically, the image in today's video that I censored out has a chance that it could have flown straight on YouTube, but it was so risky that I didn't want to chance it. So even if I go the route of having the ladies wear their underwear in Honey Pop 2, I'm still going to censor it. I don't want to push anybody's buttons, you know what I'm saying? And it was really interesting because I also saw some channels that flew the route of having the material censored by just covering everything with underwear. And that did seem to fly on YouTube. So, but I really don't want to risk it. So I'm just, and it's good practice anyways, so I'm just going to go ahead and censor everything out. Hey, Toasted Ape, glad to have you in here. Thanks for coming in and hanging out, buddy. Let me catch up just a little bit more. Stay in Place says, I'm going to be pretty quiet. She's going to lurk for some games. Okay, that's all good. DLG says, I'm listening in while mining stone and deep slate, waiting for trees to... Okay, so playing some Minecraft. Very nice. We got a lot of lurkers tonight. Got a lot of nice little lurky boys and lurky girls tonight. I can dig it. Thank you, all you wonderful, sexy lurkers. Glad to have you in here hanging out. Thank you so much. Fajouk already left. Oh, well, it's fine. Bye, Fajouk, if you can hear me. Probably not. Ratherwood says, it's dangerous to go alone. Look at these. There you go. I said hi to Toasted Ape. Glad to have you in here, buddy. Don't know what Honey Pop is. I'm going to search it up. Be right back. Hey, Toasted Ape, go and watch my 10-minute video that I just put out today about, it's the behind-the-scenes cut of playing Honey Pop that I did. So if you want to know what Honey Pop is all about without having to watch full, long playthroughs, go check out my amazing 10-minute clip that I put out today, because I'm very proud of it. I worked very hard today on it. In fact, I'm so proud of what I did and how hard I worked on it that I am going to post it right now in just one moment, as soon as I can get the link, which I am totally not stalling for. All right. There's the link to my Honey Pop video that I did today. I worked really hard on it. That's why I'm trying to, like, get it out there, and I want people to check it out. I worked very hard on it. I'm very proud of the work that I got done today on the Honey Pop. Well, I should say yesterday. So I'm trying to get it out there, and I'm trying to get people to watch it. So if you want to know what Honey Pop is, go ahead and check that video out when you get the chance. What if instead of pixelization, you put your face on top of the naughty bits? That was a possibility I thought of, too. I actually was watching some old playthroughs of Honey Pop, and it was actually very funny watching the editors put their faces, like, on the genitalia. It was very funny. There was one that made me laugh really hard where I was watching, because, like, so some of the larger YouTubers I watch have actually worked together as, like, you know, video recorder and video editor. So, like, there was one that I watched where one of the video editors for the guy who's the larger channel that was recording, that video editor makes content of his own, and he's really funny and really entertaining to watch, whether he's making content or whether he's editing. And it was really funny watching this, you know, video that has the naughty bits in it, and seeing the editor of the editor's face, who's a content creator that I like, just have his face splashed all over the naughty bits. It was hilarious. Really enjoyed that. So, the main thing was I was doing the whole pixelization mosaic thing, just to kind of get the experience with it. Not sure if I really want to. I mean, maybe I'll put my face in there just to be funny and be silly. So that's a possibility. I'll think about it. That's a good idea. I'll keep it in mind. Thank you, Ratherwood, for the idea. So you're not going to play the game with your pants off? Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, DLG. Am I wearing pants right now? You don't know, do you? You don't know if I'm wearing pants right now, do you? That's right. You don't know. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Yeah? Yeah? Who says I have to wear pants? Can you see that I'm wearing pants? Am I wearing pants right now? I don't know. Yeah? Yeah? I know that if Lettuce was here, he would be more than happy to say that he always imagines that I'm not wearing pants. Let's see here. G says, I'm doing Cyberpunk walkthrough on my channel. That's cool. Very fun. Very fun. Ratherwood says, it'd be rude to keep him on DLG. There you go. A shed, look up nude yoga. Jesus Christ, Cindy. Toasted Ape says, update, I need to read 10 pages of the Bible. Probably had the chance to look up Honey Pop. Very good, my friend. You are learning. You are learning! Bo Falcon says, I lurk all the time while doing other things. Yeah, I like all my lurky boys and girls. You guys are wonderful to me. I'm a lurker myself. Like, 9 times out of 10, if you don't hear from me in, like perp stream, it's because I'm probably lurking. Like, that's most of the time what's going on. Cindy says, Ashed, you know I am talking YouTube, right? After Ashed says, that's a great idea to Mr. Cinder. Look up nude yoga. Ugh. You guys are terrible. That would actually make Hobbs a pee-pee head. That's not very nice. I'm not a pee-pee head. Shut up. How dare you? You're hurting my feelings. Hey, James P. Good to see you in here, buddy. Did you see the uncensored early release of the Honey Pop video? Because you have access to it. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it. It's on Patreon. Toasted Ape says, I remember when you had 80 subs. My first stream from you was about Minecraft. Really? I feel like I had a feeling, because I feel like I've seen you in, like, around a few times. Wow, 80 subs. God, it's been quite an adventure since then. I mean, obviously I'm only at, like, 139, fluctuating between 141 and 139 all the time, but yeah, I'm getting up there, I'm working on it, and I feel like that, you know, eventually I'll get to be pretty nice and big and sexy in due time. I just gotta keep working on, gotta keep grinding, gotta keep working on my content, making good videos and good streams for people to enjoy, and, you know, I'm kind of in that comfy state where I'm not obsessed with numbers. I'm not obsessed with numbers yet. I'd like bigger numbers, but I just like making content the way that I'm making content right now. It's quite nice. I'm quite comfortable with it. Habbo has no legs, let alone pants. That's right. Little did you guys know that I'm actually just a floating upper torso, and sometimes I have these floating arms that just kind of come into frame. They're not actually attached to anything. I'm just like a floating upper torso with floating arms. Toasted Ape says, I'm growing neurons didn't know existed while searching this stuff up. Toasted Ape! It's all about the gameplay and the plot, buddy. That's what Honey Pop is all about. It's all about the gameplay and the plot, my friend. I'm here for the art, says James P. That's right, he is one of the few people on my channel that loves the paintings and stuff like that. Glad to have you in here, buddy. But yeah, I'm actually, like I said, my plan actually is after this stream, I'm probably going to be going back to recording more Honey Pop. I'll actually probably go hang out in Magic Historian's stream tonight. And then after that, I'll probably be working on Honey Pop content. I might have to cut it early, though. Simply because I don't want to be too loud by the time it gets too late. So he finishes at, like, 9 p.m. So I could probably record content until like 11, which means I could probably get like 2 hours worth of video recording done if I wanted to. But yeah, like, I've only got one video done so far, not including editing. That's going to be a whole nother mess. That'll probably take a day or two to get that done. But if I can get like 3 videos recorded at the very least, I can probably get those edited across the next couple of days, and then get those released on Patreon and get those released on YouTube. And yeah, and then we'll be in business, huh, guys? That'd be pretty fun. Hab's final form is floating head that talks smack. Absolutely. Cinder Shadow also loves the art. Yeah, it's just that, like, funnily enough, my art videos do the worst. They do the absolute most worst of all of my videos, which is really sad. But that's okay, because, like, I mean, when I get in the mood to doing some painting, I don't really care about how well they do. Because most of the time I just want to paint when I do those videos. But I will be honest, I have not been in the mood for painting, and I haven't been doing very much. I even had a project that I stopped working on because I was not happy with it, so it was like halfway finished. And I was recording it too, so that's a video that will probably never be published, simply because I hated it by the time I got halfway through it, and I just gave up on it. That sounds pretty good, Cindy. You're making me hungry, buddy. I might go and have a snack after this or something. But yeah, so the Honey Pop stuff is something I'm really excited about, and I'm kind of curious to get into other graphic games. You know, like, this is the thing is, it's really cool about doing all the stuff with Honey Pop is, like I was talking about before, it's opening up all these new doors that I didn't have before, which is allowing me to kind of be a little more outgoing with my content and being a little more ambitious with it. Because, I mean, you know, when I'm streaming, like, I can't stream Honey Pop, you know? And the thing is, when I say that, is that's a big deal, because that's when I was like, oh, Honey Pop 2 is such a big deal. I really want to put it out as content, and I really want to enjoy it. So the only way I could do it is by forcing myself to create a video series. But the thing is that when I say, like, how big of a deal that is, the reason why is because I'm so driven to play the game Honey Pop 2 and create it as content that I had to kind of, like, really put myself in the mindset set of getting that done and learning those new tricks. And what's really good about that is that there was a bunch of different games that I wanted to play, but I chose not to because they were too graphic for YouTube. So, there are some games that I will never play on YouTube no matter what. Like, I was talking about Monster Girl Island a while ago. I would never play that on YouTube. Even with heavy censorship, I would not play that on YouTube. There's no way. It's too much. That game is way too much. That's like, if I were to like record video footage of me playing Monster Girl Island and then tried to release that on YouTube, I would probably have to like censor like most of it. Like, I would have to censor like a large amount of it. And it wouldn't be fun to watch. Like, it wouldn't, because like there would be some aspects that would be kind of fun, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But there's other games that I played or that I've wanted to play on YouTube that could use some light censorship, like Honey Pop 2, but I didn't go and jump into it for content because I wasn't at that time ambitious enough to try and learn how to properly censor that kind of content. But Honey Pop 2 has now pushed me in that direction, and that makes me feel more comfortable with creating more footage like that in the future and releasing that, you know, properly edited and censored and things like that. So definitely something on my mind, and definitely kind of a new doorway of creating content that I didn't have available to me before. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anything else that I'm working on that I could probably think about? There's Nothing. There's not a whole lot else. I mean, I've been kind of. It's kind of funny because it's only been a couple of days since I was last talking about anime, and I've actually kind of cooled down a little bit when it comes to anime. I found a couple of, like, it's because I watched, like, so many good fantasy animes that I could talk about, but I have finished most of them, and I didn't have much to say about most of them. And I'm now kind of watching an anime series that I've seen a long time ago, and I was like, oh, I remember this being really good. And I'm rewatching it now, and it's still actually very good. But it's not like, the fantasy stuff that I was watching earlier where, oh, Krebsy, have a good night. Thanks for stopping in, buddy. I appreciate you. I started watching an anime that I watched when I was a young teenager called Hayate no Gotoku, which is, if I remember correctly in English, it's called Hayate the Combat Butler. And it's a very long anime series. I'm talking like crazy, crazy long. And it's basically just this, it's like, how do I explain it? Like, unlike your stereotypical animes, it's very, it's like watching like an actual cartoon show. It's like watching a cartoon show. It's like watching, I don't know how to describe it. So like the whole show is just overall like a comedy variety hour, and you never know where it's gonna go or what it's gonna be about, and it's just like joke after joke after joke after joke, and it breaks the fourth wall a lot. It makes references to other animes and other types of pop culture, especially in Japanese pop culture. The characters are hilarious. They're all really fun and silly and entertaining. Surprisingly deep, actually, now that I think about it. Like, they have a very large cast of characters, and every character kind of gets their own level of development and intrigue to them. But it's for the purpose of telling, like, a comedy story that can go in any direction at any given time. So it's very fun, and I've just been kind of enjoying that. Like, it's actually kind of funny. Like, these last couple of nights, I'll just be laying back on my couch, and I'll turn on episodes of Hayate no Gotoku, and I'll just sit back and I'll just laugh my ass off for, like, a good... Like, there have been episodes where, like, I'm just sitting back and I'm enjoying it quietly, and, like, it can be pretty funny, but it can just be kind of chill and not super exciting. And then, like, there are episodes where for 20 minutes straight, I'm just laughing out loud. Like, literally lolling out loud. So it's kind of like, it fluctuates a lot. I haven't seen any bad episodes of it. And like I said, I remember watching it as a teenager and finding it very entertaining. And now I'm giving it a rewatch. I can't remember what made me want to rewatch it, but I started I like stumbled upon it or something reminded me of it. And I was like, you know what? Last time I watched this, I was a young teenager. I remember it being pretty good. I think I'm going to watch it again. And I am watching it again, and it's a blast. It's so fun. Like, it's really fun. DLG says, so it's a cross between Deadpool, The Muppet Show, and a Saturday morning cartoon? Kind of, yeah. It's very, like, all over the place. But, like, in a good way. Like, not in a bad way. It's just, if you accept, like, the major thing about it is, like, it's just, the whole point of the show is just to make you laugh. That's it. That's the only purpose it serves. It doesn't, like, it's not trying to tell you, like, a complex plot or, like, I mean, the characters have depth to them, but that's not what the show is about, So, like, it's kind of like it's sort of like they have this huge cast of characters, and because it's, like, the show is, like, I think, like, hundreds of episodes. It's like watching a sitcom. And, like, so it's got hundreds of episodes, and they have to, like, reuse... Like, they have a huge cast of characters, and they reuse all the characters for all sorts of different things. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like they're not creating depth to the characters in order to tell you a deep, complex story. They're creating depth to the characters because they have to reuse them so much. So it's like, if the characters are boring, then that means that whatever you're using the characters for will in turn be boring. So it's kind of like they have unintentionally, just due to the fact that they need to make the show entertaining and silly, they have unintentionally created deep characters. It's really fun. It's a really fun show. I've been, like I said, I've just been like sitting back and watching it the last few nights, and it's made me laugh like at least once in every episode. Cindy says, the only character that has depth here is you, Habbo. Oh, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate that, buddy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I kind of needed something relaxing, like, when it came to anime, because I was so deep into watching nothing but, like, isekai fantasy animes, and I was so obsessed with the idea of, like, how deep they are, and how interesting they are, and, like, all this stuff. And, like, it's like, okay, well, how good is the plot? How deep are the characters? Like, this stuff, and this stuff, and this stuff. And, like, it was really funny reflecting on that, because I had to watch... I watched a really bad anime where I only watched three episodes of it. And what was funny about it was I had watched... I realized after I got to the second episode, I realized that I had actually watched that anime all the way through when I was a teenager. Possibly when I was a kid, actually. Maybe I watched it either back in middle school or I watched it back in high school. And it was terrible. It was so bad. And like I said, I got to the point of the second episode where I recognized, I was like, I have seen this before. And it was so bad. It was so bad. But what was funny is reflecting on the fact that I had watched it all the way through as like a kid in the past, and realizing how demanding my tastes were for anime now compared to in the past. So, like, I'm like, oh, like, I need these deep characters, and I need this intriguing plot, and, like, you know, I need the setting to be interesting, and I need timelines, and, like, all this complex stuff. And, like, it made me realize, like, how I didn't used to be that way when I was younger, and, like, I don't know if, like, it's kind of hard to say whether... It was so weird, because, like, watching that anime that was so bad, it had nothing to it. Like, nothing. Like, the characters were not interesting. There was no actual plot. It was kind of, like, very episodic. It's kind of like Hayate no Gotoku, but Hayate no Gotoku is way more fun and silly and interesting. But it was episodic, so, like, every single episode was a story, like, an encapsulated story, and the characters were boring as hell. Like, none of them were interesting at all. The main character was the worst. And he had, like a sister who was, like, they kind of tried to, like, make the sister look really beautiful, and, like, she was very ugly. Like, but it wasn't, like, ugly as in she was designed to look ugly. It was, like, they designed her to be beautiful, but the animation was so ugly. And mind you, this was a show that was made in, I think it said, like, 2007? So it was, like, an early one. It was an early anime. What was it called? I want to see if it's still in my history. I think it was, like, a day or two ago that I last watched it. Let me see if it was in yesterday. Was that it? Let me see. No, that's not it. Well, I don't think I'm going to find it, but I don't care enough to try and find it right now. But it was so bad. Like, it was very much, like, you could tell it was, so, like, what's really interesting is that there's, like, kind of, like, a timeline for the history of anime where it's, like, there's the like platinum age of anime, which is like the late 80s, early 90s. And then when you go into the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, you're in what is referred to as the golden age of anime. And then there's the silver age of anime, which is basically like the mid 2000s to like late 2010s. And that's like the silver age. And then right now we are in like what's referred to as like the bronze age of anime. So like the thing is though is that what's interesting about the golden age of anime is that like during the golden age of anime was still not like a big gigantic production value kind of thing like it is now. So like the golden age of anime, like that's why I was saying like this anime that was so bad and the animation was so ugly that you could tell that it was from the low production quality of the early days of the golden age of anime, which like I said, I think it was like 2005, 2007. And like it was very much like a low production thing where it was like they just kind of like scrapped together as much money as they possibly could, and then they hired cheap animators. Like they, oh god, there was this one scene that made me die of laughter because they couldn't like they kind of like scrapped together as much money as possible so they could get cheap animators. They got horrendously cheap voice actors, and like you could just tell that it was just a thrown together project, which made it really interesting to me because it was a product of its time. So it's like it wasn't bad necessarily, like, because you can't really compare like bad production quality golden age anime to like bad production quality bronze age anime. You know what I mean? Because like it's different things, like, you know, different resources, different money. Like something that is bad in the bronze age of anime has no right to be bad. But a lot of the time, an anime that's bad in the golden age of anime has the excuse of being bad because they didn't have the you know, the manpower or the money power as we have in the bronze age of anime right now. So it was just so funny because there was this one scene where that made me like, I was crying from laughter because it was, the voice acting was so terrible, you guys. And there was this scene where like the main character like dies, like he falls to his death and he's just like a corpse on the ground, which is kind of like a plot point to the story, is the main character kind of dies a lot for like really, he's basically a person, he's a reanimated corpse basically. So like what happens is the magic that keeps him alive runs out over a period of time, and then he becomes a corpse again, and then he has to be reanimated again. So there's this scene where he's up in a tree, like basically there's this little girl, like this little tiny girl, and she loses her balloon, and the balloon gets caught up in a tree. And the main character, who's this reanimated corpse, he climbs up the tree to get the balloon. And then the magic that is keeping him alive runs out, so he dies instantaneously, and he falls out of the tree and lands on the ground as a corpse. And there's just this hilarious scene. The voice actor that they got to play the little girl, it's so bad. It's so bad. And there's this scene where like they show the mother of the girl, and she's like, "Oh my god, he's dead!" And then the little girl like runs up to the corpse, and she's like, "Wow, he's dead." Like just like so deadpan voice acting, just wow, he's dead. And like it's just like, and especially after the previous voice actress who was the mother like put up this whole show like, "Oh my god, he's dead." It was just so funny, and it made me cry because of how funny it was. It was such bad voice acting. It was amazing. I loved it. But like I said, after the third episode, I couldn't watch it anymore. It was too much. Like, I mean, you could tell, like, when you're watching it, like, you can tell that they wanted to tell you something, but, like, There's no plot. The episodes are episodic. The story that they encapsulate in each episode isn't that interesting. The characters weren't that great. The animation was ugly. The voice acting was terrible. Like, I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're a Golden Age anime and you're just working with whatever money you managed to scrape together. It was too terrible for me to watch. But, like I said, if you want to see like a good Golden Age anime, go watch Hayate no Gotoku. That's what I've been keeping up with right now, and it's been a lot of fun to watch, because it's a very good comedy. Like, it's just a fun romp of silliness, and like every episode, it's episodic, so like there's, as long as you watch like the first, like, I want to say like 2 episodes of the show, like, if you watch the first 2 episodes of the entire show, like, you're gonna always know what's going on in every episode after that. So, it's a very good show. Very good show. Hayate no Gotoku. Hayate the Combat Butler. A lot of fun, a lot of silliness, and the characters have depth, even though they probably shouldn't. They do. Let me kind of catch up a little bit. Let's see here. Ratherwood says, Silver Age anime is sweet. That's what I grew up with. Yeah, I grew up in... I started watching the Golden Age of anime, because that's, like, FLCL was during the Golden Age, and that's what I got started on. And, I also was really into Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. That was a Golden Age anime. Was never in the Platinum Age. I've seen anime from the Platinum Age of anime, but that was not the time that I grew up in anime. But I was lucky to be a part of the Golden Age of anime, and then have moved through the time as anime has become like a big thing, and everybody watches it now, and people do what they're doing. Oh geez, look at the time. I need to wrap up, guys. I'm gonna catch up on a few of the comments, and then I gotta get going. Okay. Stayplay says, I really want to buy Lucy Got Problems because I'm one of those chicks. Okay. Talking about the period where they used dramatic radio commercial announcers to dub imported anime. I don't know if that's the case. It's possible. The dubs for that show I was watching, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the name of it. I think it was called, like, Massacre Princess or Corpse Princess or something like that. I can't remember. But it was really bad. It was really, really bad. Ratherwood says, cheap anime is jokes, though. I'm amazed that shortcuts they get away with. Like, you never see people's mouths when they talk. Yeah, that's true. I've definitely seen some memes of some really bad animes that are quite funny. Like all Dark Souls NPCs, their lips are never moving, they speaking in silence. Yeah. Stayplay saying goodnight. Cindy is saying Ninja Scroll record of Lotus War and Ghost in the Shell. Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is great. That is a favorite of mine for sure. The original movie, as well as Standalone Complex, are fantastic. I love those shows, the movie and the show. See you over in Perp Stream? Absolutely, that's probably where I'm going over to next. So anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and we had a lot of fun. I'm going to say all the wonderful things I always say, which is go ahead and like, go ahead and comment, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell, do all those wonderful things. It really helps me out with the algorithm, which I greatly appreciate. Go ahead and check in the description below for all of my wonderful links, such as my Streamlabs or my PayPal. Once again, another shout out for my Patreon. Guys, more content is being produced to be put on my Patreon, so this is the time to join up on the Patreon and get caught up on the new kinds of content that I'm producing for it. So definitely check that out if you want. And I also have like my P.O. Box down in the description below. I'm also going to give a wonderful shout out to my amazing Patreon members, who are ya boy Lettuce, Bo Falcon, James P, Miss Rebecca, Fajouk, and also Mr. Ashed. Thank you, all of my wonderful Patreons, for supporting what I do. I greatly appreciate it, and they're also getting exclusive content now as well. So other than that, I'm going to say the very last thing, which is, guys, follow your dreams, alright? I'll see y'all later. Have a great night. More content is coming, I promise. Enjoy it. I'll see you guys later, okay? Good night, everybody.